Maya walked home from school slowly, much slower than she usually did. She was a bright little girl who always ran toward her house, happy to tell her father about her day. But today was different. Her steps were soft, her eyes were fixed on the ground, and her shoulders were low, as if she carried a heavy weight that others could not see. She pushed the door open without saying a word. Daniel, her father, was in the kitchen fixing a small snack for her. Every day he waited for the sound of Maya's cheerful voice calling, "Dad, I'm home." But when she entered the house today, she said nothing. She walked past him slowly and tried to go straight to her room. Daniel turned around and frowned. Something was wrong. He called her gently. "Maya, come here, sweetheart." Maya stopped, but she did not lift her head. Daniel walked closer. Her silence worried him. She usually talked a lot, even when tired. He kneeled down to her level and softly lifted her chin. Only then did he see the uneven hair on one side of her head. Daniel's heart tightened. A small part of her hair had been cut in a messy, rough way. It was not a haircut. It was something unexpected, something that made his daughter look hurt and embarrassed. But Daniel stayed calm. He did not want to scare her or make her feel worse. "Maya, what happened?" he asked in a soft voice. Tears filled her eyes. She tried to speak, but her voice broke. Daniel held her hands and waited patiently. After a moment, she whispered, "Some kids, they laughed at me." She sniffed. "They said my hair was too long and then they cut it." Daniel felt a deep pain inside, but he kept his face gentle. He hugged her tightly. Maya shook a little in his arms, trying not to cry too loudly. Daniel rubbed her back and said, "I'm right here. You are safe now." His voice was steady, full of love and strength. Maya pulled away and wiped her cheeks. "Dad, they laughed a lot," she whispered. "I didn't know what to do. I just stood there." Her small voice carried sadness, confusion, and fear all together. Daniel felt helpless for a moment. No parent likes to see their child hurt, but he reminded himself that he must stay calm and strong. "You did nothing wrong," he said softly. "You did the right thing by coming home. I'm proud of you." Maya nodded, but her eyes still showed pain. Daniel took her to the living room and sat with her on the couch. He gently fixed her hair, trying to cover the uneven part. "Tomorrow," he said, "I will go with you to school. I will talk to your teacher. We will make sure this does not happen again." Maya looked up at him, her eyes big and unsure. "Dade, will people laugh at me again tomorrow?" Daniel shook his head and gave her a soft smile. "No, sweetheart. I'll make sure you feel safe. You are not alone." But she moved closer and leaned against him. Daniel held her close and kissed the top of her head. He thought about how Maya had always been kind, gentle, and friendly. She never hurt anyone. Seeing her quiet like this broke his heart. He wished he could protect her from every sad moment in life. After a few minutes, Maya whispered, "Dad, I liked my hair." Daniel smiled softly. "Your hair is still beautiful. And you are beautiful. Nothing can change that." His words calmed her a little. She let out a small sigh, the kind children make when they try to be strong. Daniel decided to make her evening better. He prepared her favorite snack and put on her favorite cartoons. Maya slowly began to relax. She even smiled once or twice, though it was small and shy. Later, as Daniel watched her, he thought about his biker friends, a group of kind people who often helped families and children in the community. They were known for supporting people in need with kindness and unity. Daniel wondered if he should talk to them about this, not for anger or trouble, but for emotional support. But for now, he stayed quiet. Tonight was about comforting Maya. When it was time for bed, Maya hugged him tightly. "Dade, don't forget," she whispered. "Don't let anyone laugh at me again." Daniel hugged her back even tighter. "I won't, Maya, I promise." He watched her fall asleep, her breathing calm again. But Daniel himself stayed awake longer. His mind was full of thoughts. He knew he had to protect her, but he also wanted her to learn confidence and strength. He wanted her to know that she was loved, valued, and never alone. As he turned off the lights, Daniel whispered to himself, "Tomorrow will be different. I will make sure of it." And with that, the quiet night settled around them. The beginning of a story the whole town would remember. Daniel woke up early the next morning, long before Maya opened her eyes. He sat at the table with a cup of tea, thinking about what happened. He wanted to stay calm, to handle everything in a peaceful and respectful way. He believed that real strength came from patience, not anger. He wanted Maya to see that problems could be solved with calm steps, not shouting or fear. When Maya walked into the kitchen, she looked a little nervous. She touched the uneven part of her hair with her fingers, almost as if checking if it was still there. Daniel smiled warmly at her. "Good morning, sweetheart," he said. Maya gave him a tiny smile. "Morning, Dad." Daniel knelt beside her again and gently fixed her hair so she would feel better. "Today we will talk to your teacher," he said, keeping his voice steady. "We will make sure you feel safe at school." Maya nodded but did not seem fully convinced. Still, she trusted her father more than anyone. She took his hand as they left the house and walked toward the school together. When they reached the school building, Daniel leaned down and whispered, "I'm right here. We'll handle this together." They walked inside. Students rushed around them, talking and laughing. Some looked at Maya's hair, but none said anything. Even then, Maya held her father's hand tighter. Daniel and Maya found her teacher, Miss Turner, who seemed surprised to see Daniel there so early. "Good morning, Mr. Smith," she said politely. "Is everything all right?" Daniel took a deep breath. "I wanted to talk about something that happened yesterday," he said. "Some kids cut Maya's hair without her permission." Ms. Turner's eyes widened. "Oh, I didn't hear about that," she said. "But thank you for telling me. I will look into it." Daniel appreciated her polite tone, but he felt her answer was too simple. He wanted her to understand how serious it was for a child. Maya was not just upset, she was hurt deeply. But Daniel did not raise his voice. He stayed calm. "I would really like this to be handled soon," he said softly. Maya felt scared. Miss Turner nodded again. "Of course, I will speak to the students today." Daniel thanked her and walked Maya to her classroom. He knelt again and touched her shoulder gently. "You'll be okay," he said. "I'm proud of you for being brave." Maya took a deep breath and walked inside. Some students stared at her hair. One girl whispered to another, but they looked away when Maya saw them. It made her nervous, but she tried to keep her chin up like her dad told her. Daniel watched her for a moment, then walked out of the school with a heavy heart. He wanted to believe the problem was solved, but he wasn't sure. Outside, he met one of his biker friends, Sam, who happened to be nearby picking his nephew up for a doctor visit. Sam immediately noticed Daniel's worried face. "Brother, you look troubled," Sam said kindly. "Everything okay?" Daniel sighed softly. "Not really. Maya had a hard day yesterday." Sam listened carefully as Daniel told him what happened. When Daniel finished, Sam paused for a moment and then said, "No child should feel unsafe at school." "That's not right." Daniel nodded. "I know, but I want to handle it quietly. I don't want trouble. I just want Maya to feel safe." Sam smiled gently. "Quiet does not mean alone, brother. We are always here for you." Daniel appreciated his words but did not want to involve the whole biker group yet. He did not want the school to misunderstand. He just wanted things to be peaceful. Later that afternoon, when Maya came home, Daniel asked her gently, "How was your day?" Maya shrugged. "Some kids still looked at me funny," she said, "but no one said anything. Miss Turner talked to us and said we should be kind." Daniel nodded, though he could tell Maya still felt unsure. She began drawing quietly at the table, her face serious. Daniel watched her and his heart softened again. She was such a gentle child, always kind to everyone. That evening, Daniel invited a few close biker friends for tea, not to complain but to talk, to share his heart. The group arrived quietly, not in loud bikes this time, but in cars wanting to keep things simple. They sat in the living room while Maya slept in her room. Daniel told them everything. He told them how Maya felt embarrassed, how the teacher did not seem fully serious, and how Maya still feared going to school. The room became quiet. The bikers were strong people, but they were also gentle when it came to children. One of them, Emma, spoke softly. "Kids should never feel alone. Maya should know she has a family bigger than she thinks." Daniel looked at them with a small smile. "I don't want to scare anyone," he said. "I don't want noise or trouble. I only want Maya to feel safe." Sam leaned forward. "Then let's give her support," he said. "Not loud, not angry, just support. She should know she is loved by many." Daniel thought about it. He imagined Maya walking into school feeling strong instead of small. He imagined her feeling protected, respected, and valued. Slowly, a new idea formed in his mind, something peaceful but powerful. And that idea would soon become the moment the entire town would talk about. Daniel could not sleep that night. He lay awake, thinking about Maya's quiet eyes and the way she held her hair with her small hands. He wanted her to feel strong again, but he knew she needed more than just one conversation with the school. She needed to feel supported, truly supported. The next morning, after Maya left for school, Daniel sat in his small living room with a cup of tea. His phone buzzed. It was Sam, the biker friend who listened to him the day before. "Brother," the message read, "come meet us. We have been thinking." Daniel sighed, unsure, but he trusted his friends. He got on his bike and rode to their usual meeting place, an old warehouse that the group used for charity projects and community gatherings. When he arrived, almost 20 members of the biker group were already there. Some were sitting, some leaning on their bikes, and some sipping warm coffee. But their faces were calm and friendly, not angry. Sam walked up to him. "We talked last night," he said, "all of us, and we feel Maya should know she has a big family behind her." Daniel lifted an eyebrow. "I don't want anything loud or scary," he repeated. "I don't want the school to think we are angry." Sam smiled. "We know, brother. We want peace. We want kindness. That's exactly why we are here." Emma, another member, stepped forward. She was older, with silver hair and gentle eyes. She said, "Sometimes, support is not about raising voices. It is about showing presence. Maya should feel she is not alone." Daniel listened quietly. He cared deeply about his friends, but he still worried about making things complicated. "What are you suggesting?" he asked slowly. Sam looked around, then said, "What if we all take her to school, quietly, respectfully? Not to scare anyone, not to cause problems, just to show her that she is safe, loved, and protected. Daniel blinked. All of you? To school? Sam nodded. Yes. We stand outside, collant, respectful. No noise, no anger, no trouble. Just support. Others nodded too. Big men and women with kind hearts, people who had helped many families in tough times. Daniel felt something warm in his chest. He imagined Maya seeing so many people there just for her. Maybe it would make her feel strong again. I don't want to embarrass her, Daniel said softly. Emma placed a gentle hand on his arm. Children do not fear kindness, she said. And Maya needs to feel strong, not small. The room became quiet, everyone waiting for his answer. Daniel closed his eyes for a moment, thinking about Maya's small voice when she said, "Don't let anyone laugh at me again." When he opened his eyes, he nodded slowly. "All right," he said. "But it must be peaceful, completely peaceful." Sam grinned. "Of course, we do not bring noise. We bring love." The group began planning immediately. They decided that everyone would meet early in the morning, line up quietly outside Daniel's home, and ride slowly to the school together. No engines revving, no signs, just presence. They wanted to show the town what support looked like, gentle, calm, and strong. As they planned, Daniel thought about how strange life could be. People sometimes misunderstood bikers. Many thought they were loud or rough. But Daniel knew the truth. These were people with big hearts who believed in helping others, especially children. They had helped raise money for hospitals, fixed broken homes, given food to families in need, and protected those who felt alone. This time they were helping Maya. After finalizing the plan, Daniel went back home. Maya was sitting on the couch, drawing quietly. He watched her for a moment, her small hand moving slowly across the paper. She looked calm, but Daniel could see she was still unsure inside. He sat beside her. "Maya," he said gently, "I talked with my friends." She looked up with curious eyes. "The bikers?" she asked. Daniel nodded. "Yes. They care about you. They want you to feel safe." Maya looked a little confused. "What do you mean?" Daniel took a small breath. "Tomorrow they want to come with us to school. Not to scare anyone. Not to be loud. Just to show support. They want you to feel strong." Maya's eyes widened. "All of them," she whispered. "Maybe not all," Daniel said with a smile, "but many." Maya looked down at her hands, unsure what to say. Then slowly, a tiny smile appeared. "Will people laugh at me?" she asked softly. Daniel shook his head. "No, sweetheart. They will understand that you are not alone." Maya thought for a moment, then nodded. "Okay," she whispered. "I want to feel strong too." Daniel hugged her gently. He felt a mix of love and hope in his heart. He knew tomorrow would be an important day, not only for Maya, but for everyone who would witness what real community support looked like. That night, the biker group prepared quietly, telling no one outside their circle. Their plan was simple: show up, stand with kindness, and remind a little girl that she was valued. And as the sun prepared to rise the next morning, something unforgettable was about to take place. Something that would make the whole town stop and watch. The next morning felt different from any other day. The sun was still low, the sky soft and pale, and the street outside Daniel's house unusually quiet. Maya woke up slowly. She rubbed her eyes and walked into the kitchen where Daniel was already making breakfast. He looked calm, but inside he felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Good morning, sweetheart," he said gently. Maya sat down and played with her spoon. She was not sure what to expect. She remembered what her father told her the night before, that many kind people would come to show support. But she did not know how it would feel. Would it be scary? Would people stare? Would she feel stronger or smaller? After breakfast, Daniel helped her fix her hair as neatly as possible. Maya looked at herself in the mirror, touching the uneven part softly. She sighed. Daniel kneeled beside her and said, "Your heart is strong. That is what people will see today." Maya gave him a little smile. They walked to the front door together. Daniel placed his hand on the doorknob, paused, and looked at Maya again. "Ready?" he asked. Maya took a small breath. "Ready." Daniel opened the door. Maya froze. In front of their house stood rows and rows of bikes, shining clean and completely silent. Over 300 bikers stood beside them. Men, women, young and old, all wearing jackets with warm smiles and calm eyes. No noise. No engines running. No shouting. Only peaceful support. The morning light touched the metal of the bikes, making them glow like silver lines stretching down the street. It was a beautiful and unexpected sight. Maya's mouth opened slightly. She had never seen so many people gathered for her. She looked up at Daniel in surprise. "Dad, they all came for me," she whispered. Daniel smiled softly. "Yes, sweetheart, they came because they believe no child should feel alone." Hassam stepped forward with a gentle nod. Emma stood beside him with warm eyes. Many others waved at Maya softly. One biker, a tall man with a soft voice, kneeled down and said, "Good morning, Maya. We're here to walk with you today. You're not alone." Maya did not know what to say. She held Daniel's hand tightly. But this time, she did not hold it because she was scared. She held it because she felt something new: support. Emma walked toward Maya with a small pink hair ribbon in her hand.
"I thought you might like this,"
she said. "You don't need perfect hair to be beautiful." Maya blushed and nodded. Emma gently tied the ribbon onto Maya's hair. It looked lovely. Daniel felt his eyes get warm. He was proud of Maya and grateful for his friends. When Maya stepped forward, the bikers moved slowly and respectfully to make a path for her. She walked with her father through this path of kindness. People smiled as she passed. Some clapped softly. Others simply bowed their heads in support. Then Daniel and Maya climbed onto his bike. The bikers formed a calm line behind him. Engines remained silent until Daniel looked back and nodded. Slowly, the engines started one by one, but at the lowest sound possible. It was gentle, like a soft hum instead of a roar. Neighbors peeked from their windows, surprised by the quiet and peaceful sight. A woman across the street whispered to her husband, "What's happening?" Her husband replied, "I think they're supporting that little girl." She nodded, touched. "This is beautiful." The whole street felt like a protective circle around Maya. Daniel started driving slowly. The bikers followed behind in perfect order, leaving enough space so it wouldn't feel overwhelming for the community. It looked like a peaceful parade of support, something rarely seen, something unforgettable. Maya, sitting behind Daniel, held his jacket tightly. But she felt different today. She felt seen. She felt safe. She felt strong. As they approached the school, students and parents waiting outside turned their heads in surprise. Teachers stepped out of the building, their eyes wide. Other children whispered, confused but curious. The line of bikes stretched far behind Daniel. It looked like a river of support surrounding one little girl who had felt small just 2 days ago. A few parents covered their mouths, shocked but touched by the peaceful display. Some took pictures. Others simply watched in silence, feeling the emotion of the moment. Maya leaned closer to Daniel. "Dad," she whispered, "I don't feel scared today." Daniel felt tears in his eyes, but he kept riding. "Good," he whispered back. "Because you are not alone." When they reached the school gate, the bikers parked in a neat row and stood quietly beside their bikes. They did not walk into the school or speak loudly. They only formed a calm wall of support, sending a message without saying a word. Daniel helped Maya off the bike. As she stepped onto the school ground, students stared, not with laughter but with surprise and respect. Maya looked around. She saw faces she had feared just yesterday. Now, those same faces looked different, softer, quieter, unsure. She took another breath and stood straighter than before. Daniel placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "Go on," he said. "Have a good day, we're right here." Maya nodded. For the first time since the incident, she walked toward her classroom with confidence. Behind her, 300 bikers stood quietly, their hearts full of kindness. It was a morning the whole town would never forget. When Maya stepped onto the school grounds, she felt something she had never felt before. Every eye was on her, but not in a hurtful way. Students stopped walking. Parents paused mid-sentence. Teachers froze in surprise. It was not fear that filled the air. It was disbelief mixed with quiet respect. 300 bikers stood outside the school gate, lined up neatly beside their bikes. No loud engines, no raised voices, no signs, only calm faces, hands folded, standing quietly as if guarding the morning. Maya walked slowly, her heart beating fast, but she did not feel small anymore. She felt held, lifted, supported by people who cared. Inside, the school staff gathered near the entrance with confused expressions. The principal, Mrs. Harris, walked outside quickly. She had never seen anything like this in her entire career. She looked at Daniel, who stood just a few steps behind Maya. "Good morning, Mr. Smith," she said, her voice soft but tense. "Good morning," Daniel replied politely. She glanced at the bikers, unsure what to say. "Is everything all right?" Daniel nodded calmly. "Yes, we are here in peace. We came to bring Maya to school, that's all." He paused and added gently, "She needed support today." Mrs. Harris swallowed, understanding more from his tone than from his words. Meanwhile, inside the school, whispers swept through the hallways like wind. "Did you see all those people outside? Are they here for that girl? That's her dad's group. I've never seen anything like it." Even the children who had laughed at Maya the previous day were unusually quiet. Some looked down. Others exchanged guilty glances. The morning bell rang, but students moved slower than usual. Maya walked to her locker with Daniel beside her. Every step she took felt lighter. Some students moved aside for her. Others simply watched without saying anything. A group of teachers approached. Miss Turner, Maya's teacher, stepped forward. "Maya," she said softly, "would you like to sit in the front today, if that makes you comfortable?" Maya nodded. She appreciated the kindness, even though she still felt unsure. Daniel thanked Miss Turner and then knelt beside Maya. "You got this?" he whispered. Before he stood up, Maya held his hand for one last moment. Her tiny fingers trembled slightly, but not from fear, from courage. "Dad," she whispered, "I'm okay." Daniel kissed the top of her head. "I know," he said with a proud smile. He walked out of the school building and returned to the front gate where the other bikers waited calmly. They stood in silence, sending a clear message without speaking a word. This child matters. Inside the school, the principal called a quick meeting with the teachers. "We must address this properly," she said firmly. "This is not just a small issue. The child came to us seeking help. We must be better. Miss Turner nodded. I agree. She is a sweet girl. She did not deserve what happened. The principal sighed. The sight outside had shown her exactly how deeply the community cared. Let's find out which children were involved and work with their parents, she said. We must make sure Maya feels safe here. Back in the classroom, children sat quietly as Maya walked in. The room felt different, softer, more aware. Maya walked to her desk as everyone watched. Then something unexpected happened. A girl from the back of the room slowly raised her hand. Maya, she said, her voice quiet but sincere. I'm sorry for laughing yesterday. The room fell silent. Maya looked at her, surprised. The girl looked nervous but honest. Another boy looked down at his desk and said, Yeah, I'm sorry too. One by one, a few more children whispered apologies. Some were too shy to speak, but their eyes showed regret. None of them had expected such a strong show of support for Maya. They realized their actions had hurt her deeply. Maya nodded slowly. Thank you, she said softly. Her voice trembled, but not from fear, from relief. During recess, parents lingered near the gate, whispering to each other about the peaceful group of bikers. Look how calm they are. They're just standing there, not causing trouble. I didn't know bikers were like this. They're showing support. That's beautiful. Inside the building, teachers moved more carefully, paying closer attention than usual. They checked the hallways, guided children gently, and made sure no unkind behavior took place. At lunchtime, Maya sat with two girls who had never spoken to her before. They asked about her drawings and her favorite subjects. She answered shyly. For the first time in days, she felt included. When the final bell rang, Maya walked outside with her backpack. She saw Daniel standing in front. The bikers, still lined up respectfully, smiled warmly at her. As Maya walked toward them, she held her head higher. Daniel noticed immediately. How was school? He asked. Maya smiled softly. Better, she whispered. People were nice today. Daniel's heart relaxed. Good, Sam stepped forward. We're proud of you, kiddo, he said gently. You were brave. Maya blushed. Before heading home, Daniel turned to the principal again. Thank you for handling things today, he said quietly. Mrs. Harris nodded, a bit humbled. We will take this seriously, she promised. Maya deserves nothing less. Daniel knew she meant it. As they walked back home with the biker group riding behind them, Maya looked around at all the kind faces supporting her. She felt something new inside her. Confidence growing where fear once lived. The school had been shocked that morning, but by afternoon, it had changed. And Maya had changed too. The next morning at school felt different from the start. Teachers walked through the hallways with more attention than usual. Students spoke more softly, and the atmosphere held a gentle calmness. Everyone remembered the quiet line of bikers standing outside the day before. No one wanted to repeat the mistake that made a little girl feel unsafe. Maya walked through the doors with a small but real smile. She didn't hide her hair. She didn't look at the floor. She walked beside Daniel proudly. Daniel stayed only until she reached her classroom. He knelt and said, Remember, you are strong inside. That is what matters. Maya nodded. She touched the pink ribbon Emma had tied in her hair. It made her feel special. After Daniel left, the principal gathered the children involved in the incident and their parents in her office. She spoke kindly but firmly. We must understand what happened and why, she said. No child should feel unsafe at school. This is a place of learning and respect. The children looked nervous. One boy stared at his shoes. A girl twisted her fingers. They were not bad kids. They simply did not understand the weight of their actions. The parents apologized and promised to talk to their children at home. Some looked embarrassed, realizing how deeply Maya had been hurt. We are not here to blame, the principal said gently. We are here to teach kindness and responsibility. Meanwhile, Maya sat quietly in her classroom. Ms. Turner approached her with a soft smile. Would you like to draw today before we start the lesson? Maya nodded happily. Drawing always made her feel calm. She took out her colors and began to draw a picture of a little girl surrounded by kind people holding hands around her. When Ms. Turner saw it, she felt tears form in her eyes. That's beautiful, Maya, she whispered. During recess, something surprising happened. A group of students walked up to Maya. They were the same children who used to giggle behind her back. But today they stood quietly. One of them, a boy with light brown hair, spoke softly. Maya, we wanted to say sorry again, he said. We didn't know it would hurt you so much. A girl beside him added, We thought it was just a joke, but we saw how sad you were. We didn't mean to hurt you. Maya listened. She didn't say anything at first. She looked down at her shoes thinking. Then she looked back up. It hurt, she said honestly. But thank you for saying sorry. The group nodded. A simple moment but meaningful. Later that afternoon, the school held a small assembly. The principal stood on stage and talked about kindness, respect, and understanding. She didn't mention Maya's name, but everyone knew why she was speaking. She said, We must make our school a place where every child feels safe. Our actions say who we are, not our words. Let us choose respect every day. The students listened quietly. It was a new beginning. Meanwhile, outside the school, a few bikers stayed near the gate. Not 300 this time, just a small group of 5, standing calmly to make Maya feel supported. They stayed quiet and respectful, showing that their support was steady, not just for one morning. Parents passing by smiled at them. Some waved, others thanked them. A few even said, "We didn't know you all were so kind." Emma, who was among the small group, smiled warmly at everyone. "Support doesn't have to be loud," she said. After school, Maya walked out and saw the small group waiting. She smiled brightly this time. She didn't hide behind her father. She walked forward confidently. Sam gave her a gentle thumbs up. "How was your day, champ?" Maya giggled. Good people were nice. Daniel felt his heart warm. "See," he said, "things can change." As they walked home, Daniel told Maya, "I'm proud of how strong you were today. You spoke kindly. You forgave? That takes real courage." Maya held his hand and nodded. "Dad, I think they understand now." Daniel smiled. "Yes." Sometimes one brave person can change many hearts. Back at home, Maya drew a new picture. This one had a school, a small girl standing tall, and a group of kind people behind her. Daniel watched her quietly and felt grateful. Later that evening, the biker group gathered again, not to plan or discuss, but just to sit together. They listened as Daniel told how the school handled the situation. Emma smiled. "This is how real change happens," she said gently. "Not through fear, but through understanding." Sam added, "Maya will grow strong because she knows she is valued." Daniel nodded. "Thank you all. This week showed me something important. Kindness can be powerful." The group agreed. As night settled, Maya went to sleep feeling safe. Her fear had slowly turned into confidence. Her sadness had turned into courage. And the school, once unaware of her pain, now became a place of kindness and attention. The truth had come out. Change had begun. And Maya's heart was healing. The days that followed were peaceful for Maya. Each morning she woke up with a little more confidence. She brushed her hair without fear, tied her pink ribbon proudly, and walked with her head higher than before. Daniel watched her with quiet joy. He could feel the change inside her, a soft, bright strength that had grown from support, love, and kindness. One morning, as they walked to school, Maya looked up at him and asked, Do the bikers have to come every day?" Daniel smiled. "They don't have to, but some of them want to. Not because something is wrong, but because they like seeing you smile." Maya giggled. "I like seeing them too." When they arrived at the school gate, only a few bikers stood there in a peaceful line. They waved kindly. They did not stay long, only long enough to let Maya know she still had support. Then they rode away quietly, allowing the school to go on with normal life. Inside, students greeted Maya with warm smiles. One girl even asked if Maya wanted to sit together at lunchtime. Maya felt surprised but happy. She nodded gently. As the week continued, the school added new rules and activities focused on kindness, respect, and understanding. They created kindness corners, where students could write notes of encouragement. Teachers guided small lessons about empathy. And every Friday, the principal ended the day with a simple message: "Every child matters." It was a small sentence, but it carried a big meaning. Maya felt it every time she heard it. One afternoon, the principal invited Daniel to the school office. He arrived, feeling a little nervous. But when he walked in, he saw warm smiles from the staff. "Mr. Smith," the principal said gently, "want to thank you?" Daniel blinked. "Thank me? For what?" "For reminding us," she said, "how important it is to listen closely and act with understanding. Your peaceful approach showed us something valuable." Daniel nodded humbly. "Thank you. I only wanted Maya to feel safe." "And she does," the principal replied. "Not just because of what you did, but because she is growing stronger inside." Later that day, Daniel picked Maya up from school. She ran toward him with bright eyes. "Dad, we had a kindness circle today," she said excitedly. Everyone said something nice about each other. "That sounds wonderful," Daniel said, lifting her into a hug. Maya nodded. "And guess what? A girl said I have a brave heart." Daniel looked at her for a moment, touched deeply. "She's right," he whispered. That weekend, the biker group invited Daniel and Maya to a small gathering at the old warehouse. When they arrived, the group had decorated the place with colorful banners and warm lights. Maya looked around with wide, happy eyes. Emma approached her with a gentle smile. "We wanted to celebrate how brave you were," she said. "You showed the whole town what courage looks like." Maya felt shy, but her cheeks glowed with pride. Sam stepped forward holding a tiny leather jacket, soft, light, and made just for her. "This is for you," he said. "Not to make you look like us, but to remind you that you're part of our family." Maya put the jacket on, and everyone clapped softly. Daniel's eyes grew warm with emotion. He hugged his daughter tightly. "You are strong," he whispered, "stronger than you know." As the gathering continued, they shared stories, laughter, and warm conversations. Maya sat between Emma and Daniel, feeling safe and valued. She drew little pictures for the group. Drawings of bikers helping children, of kind hearts, of a girl with a pink ribbon standing tall. That night, as they walked home, Daniel held Maya's hand. The air was cool, and the stars looked peaceful. "Dade," Maya said softly, "do you think other kids feel scared like I did?" Daniel thought for a moment. "Maybe." he answered. Some might. Maya squeezed his hand. I hope they get support too. Daniel smiled. Maybe your story will help them. Maybe someone will remember that kindness can change everything. Maya nodded thoughtfully. When they reached home, she placed her new jacket carefully on her bed. She touched the smooth leather gently and whispered to herself, I'm not alone anymore. That night, she fell asleep with a peaceful smile. And Daniel watched her, grateful for the journey they had walked through together. From fear to strength, from hurt to healing. The truth was simple. A little girl had found her voice again. A school had learned the power of kindness. A community had discovered a new way to stand together. And a group of peaceful bikers had shown everyone that support does not need to be loud to be powerful. In the end, Maya carried a new message within her heart: when people choose kindness, even the smallest voice can grow strong.